Hello everyone, and welcome to another day of NGS action. Today we're going to be having a bit of a split doubleheader. We have Crimson Cyber Squad versus Habitual Line Steppers from Div E starting now. And then at 8 o'clock Pacific, we will be going over to Division D between Dragon Gall Z and Cosmos. But like I said, first game is going to be right now, Division E, Crimson Cyber Squad versus Habitual Line Steppers. Now, let's take a quick look at the standings. And okay, so there is a bit of a gap. However, I mean, 16 points for Habitual Line Steppers, 1 point for Crimson Cyber Squad. They've only won one map so far. But I've been watching this team play, and they've been so close to so many wins. I mean, they've definitely been competitive in every single one of their games, just never been able to get that final little bit of a push to cleanly close out the maps. But should be pretty quick. And now both teams have already done the ready check, so I'm going to blast through the map picks and bans. Crimson Cyber Squad decided to go for map pick. They banned away Garden of Terror and Towers of Doom. Habitual Line Steppers banned away Dragonshire and Tomb of the Spider Queen. And Infernal Shrines is the first map. So, with that being said, this should still be a pretty decent match. It is Div E, and in Div E, anything can always happen. Any team can always win. And it's always a ton of fun watching them play. Now, I know a lot of people do prefer watching the higher divisions, but in my opinion, like going to the lower divisions is pretty interesting in its own way, because it kind of shows how many different ways there are to play Heroes of the Storm. You see a lot of different strategies that no one ever picks up to start, but the creativity comes through. And sometimes a lot of the best strats do come from Division E, so I am looking forward to this game. As looks like I need a ready check as well. But both teams are saying they're ready, so hopefully we should be getting started momentarily. But with that, should be a pretty fun one today, especially with the doubleheader. I did a doubleheader last night. Tomorrow, gonna take it easy, only do the one game. And that will be the Heroic Division, actually, going to Blue and the Beta Males and Duritan's Couch. Then I have another double cast over on Thursday, Div B East and Div B West. And then Friday, there's no cast, so I guess I'll take that day off. But regardless, we do have a draft. We are going to Infernal Shrines. And Infernal Shrines, I still love this as a map. I think it's one of the most interesting objectives in the game, because it's an objective that focuses on heroes instead of just pushing a lane or a drivable vehicle, such as the Dragon Knight, which was apparently a vehicle. But now, oh yeah, I should do my predictions. I did not set that up. Give me one moment. Who will win? Yes. So we'll just do the short way, because why not? I forgot to get that set up ahead of time. I usually do that. But Anduin, going to be the first ban coming out of Habitual Line Steppers as Crimson Cyber Squad. There are a few heroes that I think are really good on this map, as no surprise to see the Garrosh banned away from Vern. Vern is such a beast on that Garrosh, able to provide so many plays. I'm not surprised to see that get removed. And frankly, I would be more surprised if at any point in the season Vern was able to play it again, at least not until playoffs, because like I said, meta's kind of redeveloped during playoffs. It's always fun to watch. But we're still a few weeks away from that. And instead it is going to be Chromie getting banned away by Habitual Line Steppers and Dahaka to follow. And now the first pick, I mean, AoE stuff is usually pretty good. And I think specifically a lot of offlaners are good. Leoric especially, I think, will dominate here. But it is going to be Stukov locked in for Turtwig. Now this could be the start of a variant Stukov combo. But Tunley and Tychus going to, or Tunley and Exerx going to lock in Joanna and Tychus as our first two picks. Now Joanna is very immovable on these shrines, and Tychus is really good at clearing everything away, both with the grenades and with the overkill. And then if they want to, they can also pop the Odin and just absolutely start shredding the skeletons and shredding the enemy heroes. Now the first pick is gonna, or the second pick coming out right now, Boomer APM locks in the Sylvanas, and Peltor are gonna lock in the Janitor Leoric. All the fans of Peltor Hots gotta remember, Peltor locks the best skin for Leoric. I don't think there's a single better skin. Janitor Leoric is what keeps us alive. It's what keeps this game going. So all respect has to be given to Janitor Leoric. As a variant will get banned away by Crimson Cyber Squad, they don't want to deal with a variant Stukov. Obviously very powerful combo, especially when doing a pick comp. And with Sylvanas, they have more than enough damage. And Leoric able to kind of even force them deeper in where they have to walk towards you to get away with the Entomb. And then Falstad going to be the final ban of this game. Habitual Line Stepper is going to remove that from the map. Does add quite a bit of that global pressure. Infernal Shrines is still a pretty tall map. But neither... Oh, sorry. I was going to say, Crimson Cyber Squad haven't picked their healer. Brightwing could be a pretty good option if they do want to get one of those globals unlocked for their team. But they will go for the Rhaegar for Code Monkey and Blaze for Prybomb. Blaze also very solid on this map. I mean, everyone on the side of CCS so far, I think is really strong, specifically on this map. They're drafting... I mean, the draft is just pretty normal. Otherwise, it's pretty standard meta stuff. But for Infernal Shrines, these are all pretty top-tier picks. As ETC and Sergeant Hammer are going to get locked in for Habitual Line Steppers. Vern on the ETC and no more heroes on the Sergeant Hammer. Do they have an answer? They do have 10th pick on Crimson Cyber Squad, and it is a carry. But do they play anyone that could jump the Sergeant Hammer? Because right now, they really have no way of getting onto it. And it is one of those draft breakers if you're able to get in a good game. And they're going to take the Maya for Orion. Okay, now that can definitely pull back the Sergeant Hammer, depending on how the Unstoppable is used. I do believe Sergeant Hammer does have an Unstoppable in her kit. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that's definitely going to have to come out and play here, because Stukov does not have a cleanse. No one else on the team can cleanse the Sergeant Hammer. So it's really going to come down to the way Boomer APM and Orion. I think that's going to be the key matchup. If the Sergeant Hammer lives, HLS wins. If it doesn't, CCS will win. But let's get into game one. All right, and we are loading into game number one, Infernal Shrines, between Crimson Cyber Squad and Habitual Line Steppers. Now, just gonna wait for the last few members to load in, but it should be a pretty interesting map. I think both teams, well, more so the side of Crimson Cyber Squad, they want their level 10s, because their engage isn't really that good until then. Their only real way of going in is going to be the Condemn from Tunley, and then the Jet Propulsion from Prybomb is pretty decent, but because it's going to be that offlane Blaze, not going to be their two start fights. But we have loaded in, and we are ready to go.
Prepare yourselves for battle, heroes.
Now, it is going to be interesting to watch how they play on this Maiev, how much they can get from this game. We will have to see when we go. But out of the talents right now, it is going to be the Overwhelming Affliction coming in from the Sylvanas for No More Heroes.
10 seconds.
What does this one even do? So it's actually going to be that max % HP damage. I think this is pretty solid when you're into a Blaze and a Joanna. You're going to be able to deal a lot of damage to kind of both targets. But now they will be grouping mid, and it's just going to be Code Monkey holding the mid lane, while 4 members of Habitual Line Steppers are going to be walking down there. Orion and Prybomb getting ready to defend the bot lane, and Xtrix and Tunley getting ready to protect the top. And I'm guessing that's just their response because there is a Sylvanas, and once No More Heroes shows, they do start grouping over to that mid lane. They're going to start playing down here as the overkill, doing a little bit of damage. Tunley going to get the Condemn on it too, as Vern does get pulled back by the Umbral Bind. But there's not going to be too much follow-up right now. There's not going to be too much aggressive posturing either. I think both these two teams kind of want a couple levels before they do try to fight. But Boomer APM going to be on that Sergeant Hammer as they are looking towards Vern. Vern will get pulled back with the Emerald Bind, but does have the Power Slide just to get back to safety. Condemn from Tunley is going to come through and is taking poke. Boomer APM doing what Sergeant Hammer does best, just sits there, 8 clicks, and walks away from the keyboard. And with the Power Slide, Tunley starting to get decently low, but so is Vern. But Vern definitely going to be in a safer spot, as Tunley will have to go back, will have to collect the well, will get the tap. Codebike will be able to provide the rest of the healing that's needed, and now both teams are just going to go back and take away their siege camps. Now, in terms of stackables, it is just going to be a Prog Rock. So it will be a little bit of healing once those 20 health globes do come through, but will still be a little bit before it comes into full play, as Vern once again caught in the Emerald Bind. But as the tank will be able to just back away, and the Lurking Arm from Turtwig really helps build a lot of space. And Boomer APM just being in the way, just standing there autoing onto Xterx, onto Orion. Now I will say, when you're against this kind of hero, having a Rhaegar is really good because the chain healing kind of works perfectly. If you're going in and out of the range of Boomer APM, you get more value from the heals. It'll cost less mana, keeping the entire team healthy. So not the worst for that is Orion just taking a beating from both No More Heroes and Boomer APM. And that's not really going to get much easier. The Heroics will make it a little bit better, but it's really just going to have to be Orion with the Emerald Bind. And now Orion is the one that's getting jumped upon, will leap over, but is decently low as well, just 200 HP, and will be forced back as, again, there's just no way in for CCS right now. Boomer APM's just kind of chilling there, having a great time, blasting away with that tank, as the top shrine is going to be activating soon. Prybomb gonna push out the lane, but the Bruiser Camp already started by HLS. They're going to get on this Bruiser Camp immediately. And the side of Crimson Cyber Squad, they're a little bit behind. I wouldn't be surprised if they started as well, but they're definitely going to have to take it second. And actually, no, they are just going to walk into lane. They seem to want to defend against it first. But now Pelder is going to get jumped on. Jet Propulsion already used by Prybomb, but they have the pullback. The Condemn lands out of 4 members, but no damage to follow up. Umbral Bind will pull back too, but it is the 2 frontliners. As Vern and Pelder both starting to get a little bit low, but the extra healing coming out from Turtwig. And Orion and Prybomb are low because, again, with this damage, they have the Lurking Arm into Xterx, and Xterx will be the first to go down. And actually, that is first blood going over the way of Habitual Line Steppers. And now Boomer APM just gonna siege up, just gonna sit there and kind of go nuts on the skeletons. Not too much else to do there. Pelador will help, has a lot of AoE within the kit as well. And this should just be the Punisher going over towards Habitual Line Steppers. Now level 7 will come out shortly. So Habitual Line Steppers will be able to just play from there. But with the Bruiser Camp getting started now by Crimson Cyber Squad, and they can kind of use this to defend against the Punisher. It will buy a little bit of time, will buy a little bit of space. And it will definitely require more damage to be done by Habitual Line Steppers before they can fully commit onto the wall. But now they've already started. The Black Arrows have already been used. And now they do have the pull. And Turtwig actually in a pretty bad spot. They do have the damage, but with the overkill, with the Punisher coming through, not going to be able to finish it off. Now Orion could be in a bad spot, but is able to just walk away to safety. Now the wall is already almost finished off. The Punisher at half HP. And Boomer APM slowly shifting forward, just autoing onto the backline. Orion is going to be able to dodge wave from the power slide. And Vern takes half the HP in damage, but again, with the healing coming out from Turtwig, really not going to matter too much. The HP advantage definitely still favoring Habitual Line Steppers as Vern looking for Xterx, and Xterx is just going to get DPS'd out. Vern gets pulled back. Same with No More Heroes, but with the Black Arrows, there's just nothing really to prevent them from walking forward. The Haunting Wave going to get used to once again disable this forward. Tunley looking for the aggressive play, has the Iron Skin. But again, without the fort's protection, it's going to be super difficult. And Vern goes in. They're able to pull Turtwig back, but Turtwig has enough space to just walk out. And it's going to be 3-0 total now for Habitual Line Steppers. And they do finish off the top fort. Now, this is a pretty solid start for them. If they just need to keep slowly pushing it in and slowly getting more value. And I think they're going to do just that. They don't need to force anything, and they are jumping onto Prybomb. Is 1v3 here. They have the Lurking Arms of Prybomb forced to go around, but the face melt almost timed perfectly to keep Prybomb stuck in place. but that will still force a Hearth coming out of Prybomb as Pelador and Vern looking to play aggressively. They have the pullback onto Pelador. Pelador in the middle of everyone, but does have the Wraithwalk to get back to safety. They have the blind over on the backside as well. And the Totem Pelador with the Entomb. The level 10s are out, and they're going to be able to take down Orion. And now Pelador is still playing forward. Has the Drain Hope onto Exerx. The extra slow onto Tunley. And now they will be able to steal away this siege camp. HLS going to be in an even better position as they now crest that full level lead over Crimson Cyber Squad. And with the siege camp, with the Sergeant Hammer, this mid lane should start taking a decent amount of damage, but Sergeant Hammer decides to go down to the bot side as Boomer APM will join the rest of the squad at pushing out this bot lane and taking down this bot lane siege camp as well. They're just getting a lot of camps, growing their lead bit by bit. Level 10 now going to be there for Crimson Cyber Squad. So the talent advantage is gone, but they made pretty good use of it with that double kill with that stolen camp. There's now No More Heroes just trading into Tunley a little bit. But the siege camp will get cleared away before any major damage can be done to the wall. As Tunley looking for the condemn, just going to be able to land it onto Vern. No other follow-up as well. Has the shield glare as well, just for a little bit of poke, a little bit of zoning as well, as they're actually able to get the push in first. But now they are getting started on their own camp. This could be a moment for Crimson Cyber Squad to play aggressively if they do want to. And it looks like they might. Tunley walking forward, not going to be able to prevent the camp from going over, but it still has Blessed Shield held up. And it's actually not Blessed Shield. It is going to be Falling Sword onto the back lane. Now Vern is caught in the containment disc in the Lurking Arbor. Tunley going to get pulled into the condemn and will get finished off as the mosh pit is on the rest of the four members. Wailing Arrow as well. And they're all dancing. Extrix is gone. Everyone's gone. It's just Prybomb left alive. And Prybomb will be able to back away, but that's a 4-0 for Habitual Line Steppers as Pelador and Vern once again just creating those plays. Pelador to split the fight into two, and Vern to really take full advantage of them being forced to group up as they get away from the Entomb. And now they've already started on the Punisher with Pelador, but they're not waiting for it to be done. They're already looking for the mid lane fourth. They will be able to finish it off here as Tunley also going to be looking in the mid lane. But that will be the end of that play. Now, it is going to be the Falling Sword. So that will be an extra way for them to get onto that backline, onto Boomer APM's Sergeant Hammer. But right now, it's almost 2 full levels as the lead for Habitual Line Steppers. Now, Crimson Cyber Squad will be able to take their Bruiser camp. They will get a little bit back. They will have a passive push in the top side with this, assuming Pelador doesn't immediately go to clear it. There's quite a bit of soak there as well, so Prybomb will be able to get that as well. But now the Arcane Punisher is going to be here. They're looking for that mid lane push. Now, I don't know how much they'll be able to get here. They are just setting in 3 members, as we do have the infamous Toki B pause. That's a good emote idea. I should get a pause emote. Give me one moment. I'm writing that down. Yeah, sometimes that's how the ideas are made for future emotes. Just in the moment, I'll come up with that. I should have chat open, and it looks like a player has DC'd. So hopefully they will be back in shortly. Hopefully this isn't going to be too long a wait. Let me get the music, because what is a pause without some nice background tracks to it? 11 in a row. No, Vendrick, we've actually had the last 2 days. I don't think we've had any pauses at all. Like cat pause? I don't know. I still need to think about how I want to do it. I was thinking something along the lines of pause champ, except like, do I have that one? No, I don't have that one. But something like that, except more with like a B. I'm not very creative, I will admit that. But you know what? It's fine. But yeah, either way, this game definitely looking very hard for Crimson Cyber Squad right now. Habitual Line Steppers took an early lead, and they've just been snowballing ever since. Almost 2 full levels, and with the Arcane Punisher pushing mid, they should be able to clear that 2-level lead with this push. Assuming Crimson Cyber Squads aren't able to fight back. Yeah, now everyone's joking that they weren't DC, they were just banned. That's definitely not the case. Or most likely not the case. I can't say definitely without knowing for sure, but I'd be incredibly surprised. But okay, so now I have 3 emote ideas. How many emote slots do I even have? You know what? I should be trying to fill dead air, but I may as well do some work. I've been falling behind a bit. I got the badges out, so I'm happy with that, but I do want to see what else I can do with it. Okay, da-da-da. Oh, I have a lot of emote slots. I have 9 animated emotes, 3 follower emotes, and 3 emotes for standard subs. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I can definitely try and get a few more options there. Wow, that's a lot more than I thought I had. Yeah, the upside down one. I don't know why I like that one so much. It's literally just an upside down version of the smiley face, but like even just the regular upside down smile that's like on Discord, Skype if you're older like me, by the way. Rest in peace, Skype, for those of you who haven't heard. Yeah, I don't know why. The upside down smile is just really funny to me. Okay, so I need to come up with quite a few ideas. I don't know any ideas for animated ones. I guess I could add like animated hypes. I think that could be fun. Yeah, that sounds like a fun idea. Let me write that in my notes. Because there's a lot of branding stuff on this channel, and especially like viewer rewards for subs that I'm just not really utilizing well. I have a decent amount of emotes right now, but they added quite a few more slots ever since I was streaming full time, so showing his micro in which you're terrible at, non-to-dos, just impressed by the OCD level of micro. Oh, talking about the StarCraft game. I was so confused. Like the murky silly emote? Yeah. Upside down smiles are just the best. Like legitimately, it's one of my favorite types of emote. What else do I even have? I haven't looked at my emotes. Like, I'm trying to remember when I even made these. I think like quite literally I got these going in like 2020, 2021, something like that. So it's literally been 4 years. Wow. Definitely been a while. I will never get rid of Toki B1 dance. Okay, I'm sorry, but this one, well, this was the first bit of art that I've ever commissioned on my channel. And they are quite funny when you have like a bunch of them going in one go, but that might also be just my nostalgia talking. Yeah, I don't, cause okay, so that actually used to be what came on whenever I got a new follower. That was my follower alert when I first started streaming, or when I first commissioned after streaming. Before that, it was like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure stuff. My whole channel actually had a weird theme back then. I wasn't even sure what I was doing. But, you know, we live, we learn, we get better, we improve. And just as an update, there has not been an update yet, so I'll let you know how it goes. Stimpack emote. I was considering Stimpack because there's quite a few heroes that use it. Rainer, Blaze. I was thinking about that. I had that written as a question mark. But the thing is, I am casting right now, but there's a lot of time between seasons, and I do want to start streaming a bit during the off season as well. Probably just doing some hot solo queue or Storm League or whatever it's called. I think it's called Storm League. But it looks like we should be ready to get started. So we should be getting started soon. Habitual Beast Stripers. Yes. That is correct. That is the way it should be. Alright. We are going back in a game. I hesitated because they unpaused and then paused it again. But their Tunley's going to get jumped upon by the Punisher immediately with the Arcane Punisher. So I need to get right back into casting mode. But Pribon, once again, Boomer APM just sitting in the back line, throwing out the abilities. Really nothing to worry about. Just having a great old time. As Xrix is the one that's getting jumped upon and is actually going to get taken out quite low by this Punisher. They will clear away the Arcane Punisher. And really not too much else for that. But now Pelder looking for the play. Has the Entomb on a 2, and it's Orion and Code Monkey. 2 great targets now. They have the Fallen Sword to kind of sell them, but Vern gonna make everyone dance. Will get interrupted, but they will take down Orion. As now Tunley trying to get into the bunker. Will be able to, but the bunker does get destroyed. And Exerx still getting pushed off by Boomer APM. And now with the black arrows, they will be able to buy a little bit of space. Normal Heroes is getting taken down quite low. But again, with Turtwig's heals, and especially with Orion dead, there's no extra follow-up onto that potential catch. It will prevent them from pushing down this mid lane keep. But again, 9-0 in favor of Habitual Line Sniper so far. And now they are looking for this siege camp as well. They're going to back away. They are in an even talent tier now. Level 13 was hit by Crimson Cyber Squad. So it makes sense to just back out, get their level 16. And I mean, this bot lane should be pretty easy for them to just kind of push over whenever they feel like. They have passive waves pushing in mid and top, as Vern's going to be the one to start working on the wall. And we'll take down the bottom cannon tower and the gate. Now the final cannon tower gonna get finished off here, and it's the minions will change sides. Wallow coming in from No More Heroes. But 4 members of Crimson Cyber Squad, they are here. They're here to defend. Tunley pops the Iron Skin, Lurking Arm, buying a lot of space as Tunley gets taken down about a 3rd HP. Chain Healing will be able to bring them back up a little bit. But with the Black Arrows, once again, there's just no safety behind these forts. And with the Sylvanas and the Sergeant Hammer push, it's just so hard to play into it without doing a full dive engage. And unfortunately, that isn't the draft that Crimson Cyber Squad had. Now, we'll say this time of the game is looking pretty bad for Crimson Cyber Squad right now. But I do think they just... Sergeant Hammer's a draft breaker, and they got caught by it. I think that's all it really is. It's such a difficult team comp to play into when you have Sylvanas and Sergeant Hammer with no hard dive. The game becomes so difficult to play. Just the raw DPS and the raw safety coming out from those 2 heroes is difficult to deal with. But now Pelder could be the target, but they will back out Pry Bomb. Still looking towards Pelder, but again, with the wave there. And the rest of Habitual Line Snippers closing in now. No play is going to be found, but Pry Bomb could be jumped upon. Both Jet Propulsion will be able to back away. Now they have the Lurking Arm, and No More Heroes. Just DPS are going to Pry Bomb, but Fallen Sword coming through, just trying to defend onto the back lane. Orion's going to be here in the mid lane as well. And now they have the siege wave, they have the cannons, and they're looking for this mid lane. Black Arrow's going to get used as well. Pelder going to get pulled back into it. And now the Ancestral Healing is going to come out for Pry Bomb. Pry Bomb is still alive. And now Orion will switch back in. Not able to land the Umbral Bind. But once again, they're going to be able to defend onto it. Odin does get popped, and most heroics have been popped there by Crimson Cyber Squad. That was the level 16 advantage fight for Habitual Line Steppers, as they have over a 2-level lead now. It will get closed a little bit because there are pretty massive waves pushing in at every section, really, for Crimson Cyber Squad. But now the Bruiser Camp is the one getting targeted by Habitual Line Steppers. They do have 4 members here, but this could be an opportunity for them to fight. Exerx was looking for a little bit of poke, but not going to be able to find it. Tunley has the blind over the wall. They're looking for a Vern. And what happened? Was that that was the containment disc? Does it have a delay? I am so confused. I did not know that was a 2-parter ability. That shows you how good this caster is at Heroes of the Storm. I always assumed it was just the immediate lockdown. I literally had no idea that was a 2-part ability. My mind is just absolutely blown. But in the meanwhile, the Frozen Punisher is going to get finished off by Habitual Line Steppers. They're going to start pushing out in this top side. And again, I don't know what Crimson Cyber Squad can really do here, because it's just going to get harder and harder for them to deal with it. Their waves are pushing in. The Punisher is there, just locking everything else in. And they will be aiming towards this Frozen Punisher, but they have the black arrows. They have the Lurking Arm just to provide even more space as the jump coming in. And Vern got to start dancing on it too, but they have the Fallen Sword, and now they could be looking towards Vern. And with the face mount, unfortunately, we'll be able to zone them off of the Entomb coming out of Pelder, but Pelder will get hooked backwards. Entomb, or Condemn lands onto 3, but Orion starting to get pretty low, and they have the power slide onto Orion. Could be looking for more. Wailing Arrow does land onto the backline, but no follow-up. They do have the mid lane key for safety. They have the core for safety. But the Frozen Punisher is still dropping into the middle of everyone. And the Lurking Arm dealing so much damage alongside Boomer APM. That's going to be a 3-0 as Habitual Line Steppers. They should be able to just close out the game here. 12-0 the kill score. And with no buildings gone, if they're able to cleanly end it here, this will be a perfect game in favor of Habitual Line Steppers. And they are able to get it as it's the game 1 going for HLS. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, it's pretty evident here, but this was just a draft breaker. If you're able to get Sergeant Hammer that late in this composition, it's so difficult to play into it. I think if you're on the side of Crimson Cyber Squad right now, you just have to admit it. They got the jump on you in terms of draft. They got the advantage that way, but it's okay. You still have 2 more games, or up to 2 more games. And I think they can definitely bring it back as long as they don't really get too far into their heads for it. And I'll be honest, I've spoken with a lot of members of CCS before. They don't seem like the type to do that. Now we will take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be heading over to game number 2. So don't go anywhere.
of eternity.
And we are back for game number 2 between Crimson Cyber Squad and Habitual Line Steppers. And this should be a pretty fun one as well. We are going to Battlefield of Eternity. One of my 2 favorite maps in the entire game. Always between Battlefield of Eternity and Raxus Holdout. So at the very least, we are going to get one of my favorite ones, as I should get the prediction going. But Battlefield of Eternity definitely going to provide different draft opportunities for both these 2 teams, because you kind of want someone who can race on the Immortal. So stuff like Greymane, Vala, Raynor actually could get picked here. Raynor is very good at racing on these. And if Hoke is around, Artana is also pretty popular in Battlefield of Eternity as well. Now it is going to be the Anduin and the Garrosh as the first 2 bans once again. One from Habitual Line Steppers and Garrosh from Crimson Cyber Squad. And first pick is on the side of HLS. So I'm wondering what they want to leave open, what they want to close out. They are going to remove the Falstad once again as well. Now the global presence doesn't matter quite as much here, but it's still able to stack up a decent chunk of damage. And the Gust is a very powerful ability. But this time Stukov going to get banned away. So Turtwig not going to be able to play that one this time around. Going to be forced onto a different healer. And I think that's also a nifty ban, because it also does kind of remove the Stukov variant combo, which was an extra ban that they had to use in the second phase for that game number 1. But with that first draft being kind of difficult to play, they're probably hoping to have something a little bit easier this time, and it can really show how much they have been improving throughout the season. As Habitual Line Stepper is going to lock in Chromie for Boomer APM as the very first pick for their team. Now, Chromie isn't too good at racing. It isn't weak, but it's not the best. But Li Ming, on the other hand, as you see that locked in for Orion, is quite good at the race, is very good at DPSing onto that Immortal. And Leoric going to get locked in for Prybomb as well. And obviously Leoric, good in basically every single situation. I don't think there's any map that Leoric struggles at. Super good at teamfighting, especially once that level 20 Storm talent is hit, where the Entomb also silences. That is the one that's typically taken. Now Tyrande and Greymane gonna get locked in for Turtwig and no more heroes. And speaking of racing heroes, Greymane, very good at it. And I am curious to see what build they do go for, because I've been noticing a lot of different variations. Worgen did get buffed at level 1. If you go for that extra talent, makes it a lot easier for the Greymane to kind of dive the backline and just kind of stay there as long as possible with that 5 extra armor. But at the same time, having that extra attack speed upon using an ability going to be really good for the race. But the variant going to get banned away regardless of the Stukov ban from Crimson Cyber Squad. They just don't want Vern on that playmaker. And Habitual Line Steppers are going to ban away the Zul'jin. Another one of them really strong racing heroes. Makes sense to just want to remove it. Now there's still some pretty solid auto-attacking heroes that are good at racing. Raynor's available. Vala's available if they want that on the side of Crimson Cyber Squad. And then outside of that, they still need the healer and the tank. And it is going to be the healer and the tank. Brightwing for Code Monkey and Joanna once again for Tunley. Now the Joanna is better on defense on this map. Not quite as good at diving in and starting fights. And I think when you have a Li Ming, you don't really need to try and play for teamfight. You can just play for the race. And Joanna's really good at slowing down the other team from trying to get that locked in. And especially the shield glare into stuff like Greymane, gonna severely lower the amount of damage that's gonna be hitting onto the Immortals, as the final 2, Sonya and Anub'arak, locked in for Pelder and Vern. Now the 1v1 matchup is pretty fun in this offlane, because it really all depends on if Prybomb lands the Drain Hope or not. If Pelder's able to dodge it, Leoric loses that trade. If it does land, then Leoric wins the trade. And now with Anub'arak, it is also a pretty easy stun coming in from HLS, as Tychus going to be the final pick coming in for Extrix. And again, Tychus is going to be pretty solid here. Not quite as good as racing as other heroes, but still has solid DPS. And I think between these two duos, it should actually be pretty even. So the question's going to come through. Who's able to win out on these team fights? It is going to be quite a bit harder for Anub'arak to do it. But I think it's definitely possible because Anubra can just block Li Ming's all of her abilities, really, as we head into game number 2. All right, and we are back with game number 2, Battlefield of Eternity, between Crimson Cyber Squad and Habitual Line Steppers, as I completely missed what my map movements are. But now it is going to be an interesting setup to start with because all 5 members are going to the bot lane. At least they were at first for CCS, but only 4 members going in from HLS. Pelder immediately going to be going to the offlane, but now Pribomb also seems like they're going to be aiming towards that top side of the map. So it should be just that generic 4v4 in the bot lane. Now it is going to be the Seismic Slam build coming out of the Sonya. And that build's typically pretty good at playing front to back. And I think with a Leoric and a Joanna, there's going to be a very massive front to back. So if that is the strat, could definitely work out for them. But now Tunley, looking for the play, is going to get hit by the spikes, though. What is it called? Impale. Sorry, I've had a long day at work, so excuse me if I miss a couple of abilities. But Vern is getting jumped upon, will be forced to use the Burrow Charge to get out of the way. As now Xterx and Tunley just kind of trying to push out this mid lane. Code Monkey helping with those autos. The Condemn gonna land on 2, and no more heroes. Actually starting to get pretty low. They're looking for the extra DPS as the heal will come out, but the Burrow Charge lands onto 3. Impale as well. They have the Soothing Mist for the follow-up cleanse. But that will be a pretty close trade. No more heroes. Definitely not super healthy, but Turtwig will be able to heal them right back up. As now the fights are coming through again. The Dragon's Breath from Boomer APM landing so hard onto Tunley. Same with the Lunar Flare. Just landing on a Code Monkey. Code Monkey doesn't really care too much, though. Has the essentially what is a passive heal for the Brightwing itself. As No More Heroes gets tagged once again by the magic missiles. And with the Arcane Orb, they're looking for it, but with the heals, Tunley's now the one that's getting low. Bro Charge not going to come through. Phase Shift for Tunley will be back up to half HP as more Arcane Orbs are just kind of landing onto the back line. But now, it's just a little bit of trading back and forth. Neither of these two teams are really giving up anything. Both have had good opportunities to get kills. Tunley was looking for a Boomer APM, not going to be able to find him. Time Trap is going to come through. Both the Iron Skin not going to take too much damage. Burn still getting poked out. Turtwig starting to get a little bit low on mana, as both sides are really not giving up this middle part of the lane. But now the Condemn does land. No More Heroes will get polymorphed as well. And Turtwig actually taking a decent chunk of damage in the backline. Tunley will get healed by the Phase Shift once again, as Code Monkey still at full mana here. So it's quite a bit to take in. But they're slowly winning this war of attrition into HLS. As now Pelder trying to finish off the Bruiser Camp. No More Heroes is going to come aid Pelder, as Pelder's starting to get a little bit low. And the Bruiser Camp will go down. But in the meanwhile, level 4 has already been hit by Crimson Cyber Squad, as they do have a slight level lead. And Pribomb going to finish off the Siege Camp over in the top side. And the Bruiser Camp will get matched by Crimson Cyber Squad as well. So through this, they will have a little bit more mana, as now Tunley getting jumped upon, but does have the Iron Skin, will be able to just walk it out. And in fact, both Bruiser Camps get finished off at around the same time. And Pribomb has the push in the top lane, looking for Pelder, just kind of trading back and forth. It's such a silly matchup, this one. I've said it so many times before, but I do think overall, eventually, especially with that landing, it will favor the Leoric. But we have more important things to watch. Level 5 on both teams, as both sides do start racing. And halftime will get reached by Habitual Line Steppers first. They have a slight lead. And now it is going to be the full DPS setup. Which one's going to have a little bit more? As actually, Peldor able to get the solo kill on the top side. But now the race is really what's going to matter here. And right now the race is definitely favoring HLS. Vern trying to play aggressively. Will land the Burrow Charge on it too. Tunley trying to buy a little bit of time, but now is kind of stuck. Has the Iron Skin. And will be trying to get away, but there's just so many members there. The Phase Shift will be coming out. Tunley is going to be safe. But that will be the first Immortal going the way of Habitual Line Steppers, as Peldor able to get the first blood for them as well at the same moment. But now Xrix, forced to dash away, will be able to safely walk back to the wall. Now we'll take a couple more talent sides. The Condemn lands on to 3. Tommy could be looking to play behind, but the Dragon's Breath just poking everyone out on the backline makes it so much harder to walk forward, makes it so much harder to get any kind of play done. And now it will be the wall going down. The Immortal is pretty low now, level 7 advantage for HLS as well. They could try to look for more. Dragon's Breath will get a little bit of bonus damage. Burrow Charge coming in through Vern. Lunar Flare gonna land onto Xtrix. But with the phase shift, will be healthy once again. And it is that phase shift talent coming through level 1, so will provide a little bit of that extra healing throughout the game, especially a significantly lower cooldown, which I think is the main point. But Tunley, standing on the time trap, will actually be able to clear it away. A little bit of trading. Condemn lands on to 3, but Lunar Flare will prevent any kind of follow-up as well. Xrix just trying to deal damage to the backline. No more heroes. And Vern, they're looking towards Xrix. Xrix is going to get jumped upon, but with the blind from Tunley and the Condemn landing on to 2, Vern starting to get decently low, but the healing coming out of Turdwick. Tunley also will get the phase shift, is able to keep fighting. Vern starting to get low, but same with Tunley, that they have the temporal loop. Iron Skin will come out in time. Pry Bomb is here as well, but with no heroic abilities, with no Entomb, it's so much harder to start or to re-engage a fight on that Leoric. I think they were hoping to arrive before the fight was over, and that's where it would really start popping off. And because of that, Peldor was able to finish off the gate, able to get a decent bit of damage onto those cannon towers as well. But now the next Immortal will be spawning in 30 seconds, and these are the ones that are slowly but surely going to start mattering. Tommy going to just shove the wave in immediately. As the siege camp is starting on the bot side, they're looking towards Vern, getting a decent chunk of damage. They will get the camp, but Tunley has a Condemn on a 3. They have the phase shift coming out as well, but unfortunately don't have the damage, don't have the lockdown to finish off any members of Habitual Line Steppers. But once again, we have the Immortal spawning. It is going to be that vertical spawn, my favorite one. If you enjoy my sarcasm anyway. But it is going to be a clear winning right now, as actually they're able to get a kill. Where was the Anubrak? Where was Vendrick? I am so confused. Okay, but I mean, a kill is a kill. And now they're looking towards Boomer APM as well. They have the Polymorph, and the Arcane Orb will land. Just needs a little bit more damage, but Turdwick able to get the heals in time. Now the Bruiser Camp has respawned, as the halftime did definitely benefit Habitual Line Steppers, but now the inside track is there for Crimson Cyber Squad, and they can keep trading, as once again we have that longer setup. Now Tunley looking to fight, looking to try and buy a little bit of time with the temporal loop. They have the Iron Skin, but they're not going to be able to defend the Immortal in time. 3,000 health left, and once again Habitual Line Steppers, they win the race. The amount of damage coming out of both this Chromie and this Greyman is just so much higher than anything that CCS is able to dish away. And now they're going to have the push on the top side. They already have Peldor with a massive wave, I might add, shoving in the bot side. Now they are playing forward. Vern is going to try playing up. The Curse Bullet will land, as we have the Draken Laser Drill coming through, dealing quite a bit of damage over to this Immortal. Now Tunley has the Iron Skin. They have the Polymorph on Vern as well, but it is just going to be the Anubarak. Not the best target for them to go on, but one they definitely could look for afterwards. Now the Immortal will go down before the fort will. And now Xrix dashing forward, looking for the play, but the Cocoon is already going to land. They have the temporal loop on a Code Monkey, and so many stuns! Code Monkey trying to get away, but just not enough time. Too much burst damage coming in from No More Heroes and Boomer APM, as that's going to be the second kill in favor of Habitual Line Steppers. And now with that, as another Arcane Orb will land onto No More Heroes, but it's still going to be a bit before Orion is going to be able to play that hard carry. Needs just that little bit more levels, needs a little bit more damage, as the Disintegrate is going to be coming through. But it ain't going to land, and it will be the top lane 4 going down, as Vern looking for Xrix for that aggressive play. And in the meanwhile, Peldor just trying to finish off this wall over in the bot side. The Entomb is going to come through, but the leap from Peldor will get Peldor back to safety. So it is going to be a trade of heroics. Entomb slightly lower cooldown, but it's only 10 seconds. Not very likely to matter. as Code Monkey. They are looking towards this poor little Brightwing, but look at the damage onto the back line. It is going to be the full stacks now for Deep Breathing. So much damage coming out of this Dragon's Breath. Just so much damage coming out from Boomer APM. And now the next Immortals are going to be spawning soon. Both Bruiser camps are up, but right now, CCS is focusing on defending their bot lane. They're focused on trying to keep their fort alive. And it doesn't seem like it's likely they are just going to give it up. They're going to go towards the Bruiser camp instead. And now with that, the Bruiser camp will go down as well, but it is being traded by Peltor. So overall, it is just a victory for Habitual Line Steppers. They're able to get the free fort, and now they're also going to be able to get the free siege camp over in this bot side. However, the one difference is Crimson Cyber Squad are going to start DPSing onto this Immortal earlier. And they've definitely been losing out on these races so far. So getting in a position where they can have a solid lead. They're 9k damage up before halftime. And I think they really need this, as once again, we have the vertical ones. Level 13 is going to be coming out for Habitual Line Steppers soon. And it could be dangerous for them to try and fight it. They are getting pushed away on the top side as well. Level 13 is going to be out now. It looks like both teams deciding to focus onto this top side instead. They have the Bro Charge coming in. No more heroes. Could be in a bad spot. And it's stuck in the entomb with the Dragon Laser Drill. So much damage coming through, and they will finish it off. Now, Xtrix will be traded back. Leap onto the backline. And so much damage coming in once again from that Dragon's Breath. Boomer APM just dealing so much damage on the backline. Prybomb will get stunned up by the Impale. Trying to get away, but the DPS is too high. If you can't lock him down during the Wraith Walk, you can at the very least be able to deal more than enough damage where it just really doesn't matter. It's Crimson Cyber Squad. They were definitely able to get a kill back, but gonna be so difficult to play. And with this, the Bruiser camp and the cannon were able to take down a good chunk of this top lane wall. So very well played by HLS. Now, they still haven't finished off the Immortal, but it is just a matter of time unless a big team is able to come out. But there's just no one here. Prybomb is able to reset, dodges away on the Cursed Bullet. And with the Burrow Charge, able to land on a Prybomb. The Phase Shift comes through as well. Code Monkey is going to be the one to get hit by the Impale. And now they have the extra stun. Prybomb is pretty low, but with the Blink Heal, Code Monkey is able to get back. And with that, no one's going to go down, but the Immortal is there in the bot lane. And once again, Peltor's just freely pushing this in. No one's there to contest it. CCS has to bring all 5 members just to get back to safety, as Peltor could be their target. Now they have the Disintegrate, they have the Condemn, but just not enough damage coming out. Vern is already here. Habitual Line Steppers, they're already here to defend. And this Immortal's dealing so much damage to this wall. The Cocoon is going to come through. Tunley is on the backline. Blessed Shield not going to be there. Will get stunned up, and Orion will follow. Another Bro Charge on a Code Monkey. Leap onto the backline. Primo will be able to get away with the Wraith Walk, but Xtrix still going to be at 300 HP. Gets hit by the Lunar Flare. Turnwig will be the one to get those final hits. Is taking up a little bit onto the keep, but won't matter. They're able to finish it off anyway. And now they have the damage coming through. Primo will get finished off. It's a 5-0. Immortals pushing in. And Habitual Line Steppers, they will be able to get that domination against CCS. All right, and once again, it is going to be the victory going over to HLS as they do get another domination over Crimson Cyber Squad. Now, if I take a quick look over at the rankings because of this, this will actually put them temporarily into first place. This will be, they also have played the most matches. Rage had 1 point above them with the same games played before this win. And 30 Seconds to Mosh was tied with them with 1 less series. So they could definitely bring it back. Now I'm going to try and find someone for an interview. Give me 1 moment. And let me also try and get that set up.
Howdy, howdy.
Hello, hello.
HLS, HLS, HLS.
Hello.
All
Hello.
right. All right, welcome everyone. I'm joined by a pretty massive conglomerate at this point. I have Vern Mushin, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or is it Mushin? No.
Exactly. It's perfect.
Okay.
Mushin no shin. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm surprised I got that, to be honest. And yes, more heroes also joining us for this interview. And first of all, congratulations on your dominations. Congratulations on your 2-0. And congratulations on, at least for now, taking that #1 spot in Div E.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. It's winning is fun. So we take it.
A lot of growth this past year.
Yeah, we've had Hector in the chat trying to take some credit for that, but for the
He
coach.
deserves it. Yeah, he was our coach, full-time coach for the first 2 seasons. Now he's advisor mode, but no, he was so helpful. Even when we were losing a lot, I learned a ton from him. So definitely shout out to Ektar. Shout out to Rock Your World as well. He gave us some really good advice last season. So
Hmm.
Yeah, always good to get that advice from those higher up division players. Now, talk to me about this game, because I don't know if any of you noticed, but that game #1 was actually a perfect game. You didn't lose a single structure. You didn't give away a single kill. Were you aware of that?
No.
we knew the 0 kills. I didn't think about like the structures. Like we didn't lose a tower even.
I'm not sure about the towers. I don't think you did, though.
Oh
I
no.
mean that it doesn't get any better than that, right? That was really fun game to play. We were really in sync.
Now, for that game #1, do you think that was more of that Sergeant Hammer draft breaker coming in, or do you think that was just that mixed in with the play as well?
That's a good question. I think it was. I think we still had to execute it, right? I don't think it was a free win because of the Sergeant Hammer. They had a Tychus, and what was the other DPS they had that game? Do you remember?
They had the Maiev.
Maiev. Okay, so they were very short ranged in general. So a bit of both, but I think we still had to execute it. So I'm gonna definitely give a shout out to the team for executing it as well as we did.
Now, like I said, with this win, you do have the most games played. So I believe both Rage and 30 Seconds to Mosh could still beat you out eventually, but you're definitely in the running for first place for the normal season. Now, is that something that's important to you, or are you just thinking about improvement and playing in the playoffs?
I can't speak for everyone on the team, but for me, I think it's more about improvement, learning throughout the season, and just being ready for the playoffs. #1 seed, I don't think you even get a bye. Maybe you get a bye now that where all 6 teams are in the playoffs with the change in playoff format for Div E. But it's a small advantage. I'd just rather be playing our best when it comes to playoff time.
Me personally, I'm just here for the fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, and poor Vern not allowed to have fun with a garage getting banned away every single time now.
Ooh.
It was the plan.
I was about to say he's just here to be an orc and stomp things around and throw people, but he didn't get to do that this week.
Had to swap to a different horde character.
Well, it definitely worked out. On that ETC, you were able to get that mosh onto 4 members of CCS.
I forget who set it up. Someone set that mosh up to happen.
What would happen
I
if
think
the
Pelder did.
Horde and the Zerglings teamed up?
I think the Horde would have a lot of snacks.
Were you saying that Entomb probably set it up? Pelder had some monster Entombs that game. Definitely shout out to Pelder.
So what happened in that team fight? Pelder got an Entomb, which split the fight into 2. It left the 5th member over on the right side. And then the 2 members that were stuck in the Entomb forced their way left into the other 2, which set up the mosh pit for 4.
Oh, nice.
I remember that mosh under their mid keep, but yeah, they didn't want us to have that Entomb the second game. They definitely grabbed that Leo away from us.
I want to say Joe picked Falling Sword specifically for the mosh.
They said no more playing with the artillery cannon in the bath.
All right. And then I have one final question. And I always ask this, but are there any shout-outs you'd like to give, and is there anything you'd like to say to your fans out there?
Shout out to our current full-time coach, Shogun, BB Shogun. He's he definitely win or lose, he's gonna criticize and try to make us better. So, definitely give a shout out to him, but shout out to the team and shout out to Divi watchers. Hopefully give you a good race to the playoffs. See who gets first place.
Shout out to Hotch Janitor.
Yes. Vern, you got anyone?
I can't think of anyone right now.
All good. You don't have to. Save it for the next cast, hopefully.
Shout out to all the people watching.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Thanks, Toki. Appreciate you as always.
Yeah, always fun casting. And again, congratulations on your win, and thanks for coming for the interview.
All right. Until next time.
Until next time, good night.
Peace.
Later.
And now with that will be the end of our stream for now. I will be back live in a little bit over an hour. Now, I'm not sure if Gyarados King has started their stream yet. Let me just quickly take a look. No, not yet. It is a bit early. But yeah, I think I will just be ending out the stream here. There will be a couple more games that are getting casted starting soon. Gyarados King will be starting in 11 minutes with Division D Rooster Pizza versus FC Hong Kong. So if you want to watch that, be sure to check that out. And then at 8 o'clock, oh, this is in Pacific, by the way. West Coast, Best Coast, by the way. I'll be back live in a little bit over an hour, so hope to see you there after. Thanks for watching, and see you in a bit.